Did you know that not all fish are heart healthy? We've all heard that fish keeps your arteries clean and your brain sharp. That's true for some kinds. But here's the shocking part. Certain fish, especially ones many adults over 60 eat every week, can quietly raise your stroke risk almost overnight. According to the American Heart Association, more than 800,000 Americans suffer a stroke each year. For many older adults, the hidden trigger isn't sugar, salt, or even red meat. It is the wrong kind of fish. Some fish are rich in omega-3 fatty acids that support heart health and reduce inflammation. Others, particularly those high in mercury, sodium, or industrial contaminants, can do the opposite. They can thicken your blood, raise blood pressure, and irritate the delicate lining of your arteries. Picture a 68-year-old who eats fish daily for the heart. Then a sudden blood pressure spike, an urgent ER visit, and the surprise his go-to fish was a high mercury, high sodium choice from processed or smoked products. He wasn't protecting his heart. He was quietly stressing it. That's why this video matters. In the next few minutes, we are going to uncover 10 common types of fish that can silently increase stroke risk, and more importantly, the safer and smarter choices you should be eating instead. Some of these may surprise you. One of them might even be sitting in your freezer right now. Stay with me until the end, because knowing which fish to avoid and which to choose could protect your brain, your heart, and your life. Now let's begin with the first one. 1. Farm salmon. For years, salmon has been praised as a heart-healthy superstar. Doctors recommend it, dietitians love it, and many adults over 60 eat it faithfully, grilled, baked, or smoked, believing it keeps the brain sharp and the arteries clean. Here is the surprising truth. Not all salmon is the same. The kind most people find at the grocery store, farm salmon, can be very different from the wild salmon that grows in clean, cold waters. In some cases, it can nudge stroke risk in the wrong direction. Let's keep this simple. Farm salmon are raised in crowded pens and fed processed pellets from grains, soy, and fish oil. That changes the fish. Compared to wild salmon, farm salmon can contain more omega-6 fats that drive inflammation, higher saturated fat that can push LDL upward, and higher levels of pollutants such as PCBs and dioxins that tend to collect in fatty tissue. Over time, these factors may irritate blood vessel linings, raise blood pressure, and stress the heart. If you enjoy smoked salmon, watch the sodium. Many smoked farmed options are quite salty, and extra sodium is a direct trigger for higher blood pressure in older adults. So what should you do? The goal is not to fear salmon. The goal is to choose smarter. Aim for wild-caught Alaskan salmon when you can, especially sockeye or coho. These typically live in cleaner waters and have lower contaminant levels. Limit portions to 1 or 2 servings per week to balance benefits with exposure. If you buy packaged salmon, read the label carefully. Avoid farmed Atlantic salmon that lists color added, since the pink color often comes from synthetic feed additives rather than natural carotenoids. For smoked salmon, look for wild-caught and low-sodium versions. Here is the bottom line. Salmon can be one of the best foods for heart health after 60 when the source is right. The next time you see a bright pink fillet on sale, pause and check the label. 2. Tilapia. Tilapia is everywhere in America. It is mild, affordable, and simple to cook. That is why many adults over 60 choose it as a low-fat protein for heart health. Here is the surprising truth. Tilapia can be one of the worst choices for your heart and blood vessels if you care about stroke risk. On the surface, it looks perfect. Low calories, high protein, easy on the wallet. Look a little deeper and the story changes. Tilapia is almost always farmed rather than wild caught. It often comes from large industrial ponds where fish are crowded and fed grain-based pellets from corn and soy. That feeding pattern pushes the fat profile in the wrong direction. Tilapia tends to be high in omega-6 and low in omega-3. A higher omega-6 to omega-3 ratio is linked with more inflammation, stiffer arteries, and thicker blood. Those are direct pathways to higher blood pressure and stroke risk in older adults. So what should you do? You do not need to give up white fish. Choose cleaner options that support heart health and brain health. Pick wild-caught cod, haddock, or pollock. Try wild trout or Alaskan salmon for natural omega-3s. If you buy packaged fish, read labels carefully and prefer wild-caught and low-sodium products. Keep portions sensible and focus on baking, grilling, or air frying rather than deep frying. Here is the bottom line. Tilapia may be cheap, but your heart can pay the real price. The goal after 60 is not to eat less fat. The goal is to eat the right kind of fat that calms inflammation and supports healthy blood pressure. 3. Canned tuna. Canned tuna is quick, affordable, and promoted as a lean choice for heart health. Many adults over 60 love it because lunch is as simple as opening a can. Here is what most people miss. Not all canned tuna is equally safe, and the wrong kind or too much of it can nudge risk in the wrong direction over time. The first concern is mercury. Larger tuna species such as albacore, also called white tuna, tend to carry more mercury because it builds up in the fish as they grow. Mercury does not clear quickly from the human body. It can accumulate in tissues and may irritate blood vessels, stiffen arteries, and disrupt normal heart rhythm and blood pressure control. That combination points toward higher stroke risk for older adults. There is also the sodium issue. Many canned tunas packed in brine or oil land around a few hundred milligrams of sodium per serving. For someone watching blood pressure, that is a fast way to spend a big portion of the daily limit. The total often climbs higher when you mix the fish with mayonnaise, pickles, or processed bread, which adds more salt and refined oils. So what is the smarter way to enjoy convenience without the hidden cost? Think portion, species, and label. Limit canned tuna to occasional use rather than a daily habit. When you do buy it, choose light tuna packed in water. Light tuna usually come from smaller fish such as skipjack that are naturally lower in mercury. Check the label for sodium and look for no salt added or low sodium versions. Drain and rinse if needed to cut extra salt. 4. Swordfish. Many people see swordfish as a special occasion choice. It looks lean, meaty, and elegant. Here is what most older adults do not realize. Swordfish is among the most mercury-heavy fish in the sea, and that makes it a risky pick for heart and brain health after 60. Swordfish are apex predators. They eat smaller fish for years, and the mercury in those fish builds up in their flesh. That is why health advisories list swordfish alongside shark, king mackerel, and tilefish as species to avoid. For someone watching blood pressure or trying to protect the arteries, this matters. Mercury can irritate the inner lining of blood vessels, make arteries less flexible, and add to oxidative stress. It can also affect brain signaling, which may show up as memory lapses, dizziness, or balance issues that look like normal aging but are not. So what is the smarter move? Skip swordfish especially if you are over 60 or managing blood pressure. Choose smaller, short-lived fish that are naturally low in mercury and higher in omega-3. Sardines, anchovies, wild trout, and wild salmon are great options for heart health and brain health. If you want a firm, steak-like texture, try mahi-mahi or Pacific halibut instead. They are flavorful and generally cleaner choices. If swordfish has been a frequent habit, talk with your clinician about a mercury test, either blood or hair. It is simple and can help you see your true baseline. Small shifts make a big difference over time. The takeaway is clear. Swordfish may look like a luxury, but for many older adults, it is a toxic trap. Choose low-mercury fish with natural omega-3s and let your arteries, your blood pressure, and your brain breathe easier. 5. King mackerel. King mackerel sounds perfect at first glance. It is rich, oily, and packed with omega-3 fatty acids that support heart health and calm inflammation. Here is the part most people over 60 do not hear. King mackerel is also one of the highest mercury fish in American waters, which turns a heart-healthy promise into a real risk. Mercury in fish rises with size and age. Big, long-lived, predatory fish accumulate more methylmercury from the smaller fish they eat. King mackerel fits that profile, so levels can be high enough to matter for blood pressure, arteries, and brain health. Mercury can increase oxidative stress, irritate the inner lining of blood vessels, and make arteries less flexible. In the brain, it can interfere with normal signaling, showing up as memory slips, dizziness, fatigue, or shaky coordination that can look like normal aging, but is not. So what should you choose instead? Go smaller and cleaner. Sardines and anchovies offer plenty of omega-3 with very low mercury. Wild-caught salmon and trout are excellent for both heart health and brain health. If you enjoy mackerel, pick Atlantic mackerel, and always check the label for species and serving guidance. Here is the bottom line. Not all heart-healthy fish are created equal. King mackerel carries omega-3 on one side and a heavy mercury burden on the other. If you want to protect your heart, your brain, and your independence as you age, skip the king and reach for smaller, low-mercury fish that deliver omega-3 without the hidden cost. 6. Smoked fish. Smoked salmon on a bagel. Smoked trout on toast. Smoked herring with crackers. It feels light, elegant, and healthy. Here is the hidden truth for heart health after 60. Smoked fish can push sodium sky high and tilt stroke risk in the wrong direction. Salt is not just for flavor in smoked fish. It is the preservative that keeps the product safe, and it stays in the final food. A palm-sized serving of smoked salmon can land around 600 to 800 milligrams of sodium. That is close to half of a full day's sensible limit. Add soup at lunch and a sandwich at dinner, and the total climbs fast. Extra sodium pulls more water into the bloodstream, raises blood volume, and puts pressure on artery walls. Over time, this means hypertension, stiffer arteries, and higher stroke risk in older adults. There is more to consider than salt. The smoking process can introduce nitrites, nitrates, and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. These compounds are linked with inflammation and oxidative stress. For someone already managing high blood pressure, that extra stress on blood vessels and brain health is not helpful. Many people think a smoked salmon breakfast is safer than bacon. The truth is that the sodium and smoke compounds can still nudge blood pressure and stroke risk upward. You can keep the flavor and protect your heart. Treat smoked fish as an occasional treat rather than a daily habit. Check labels and pick low-sodium options when available. Rinse the fish briefly under cold water to remove some surface salt before serving. 7. Fried fish and fish sticks, a golden fillet on Friday, a fast food fish sandwich, or a box of fish sticks from the freezer. It is quick, tasty, and looks harmless. Here is the hard truth for heart health after 60. Fried fish is one of the riskiest ways to eat seafood for stroke risk and blood pressure. The problem is not the fish, it is what frying does. High heat breaks down delicate omega-3 fats that support heart and brain health. The batter and oil add oxidized fats and can introduce small amounts of trans fat, which push LDL up and HDL down. The crispy coating often brings refined starch and a lot of sodium. That combo promotes inflammation, thicker blood, stiffer arteries, and unstable blood pressure in older adults. There is a second hidden hit. Restaurant fryers and frozen products are usually made with industrial seed oils that are heated again and again. Reheated oils oxidize more easily, which can add extra stress to blood vessels. Many frozen fish sticks also pack several hundred milligrams of sodium per serving. Add sauces, buns, or fries and the salt load climbs fast. You do not have to give up fish. You only need to change the method. Bake, grill, or steam to preserve omega-3 and avoid damaged oils. If you want crunch, coat the fillet with ground oats, almond flour, or a light dusting of crushed flax seed and bake until crisp. Choose wild-caught and plain, unbreaded options when buying frozen seafood. Read labels and prefer low-sodium products. Pair your fish with lemon, herbs, olive oil, and vegetables instead of salty sauces and white buns. 8. Atlantic cod. For years, cod has been the gentle go-to for heart health. Light, mild, and easy to cook. Here is the part most people miss. Much of today's Atlantic cod is either heavily pressured in the wild or comes to you after industrial handling and processing. That can change what ends up in your body and how your arteries feel over time. Cod caught or raised near busy coasts can pick up unwanted guests such as heavy metals, microplastics, and residues from human activity. In older adults, these can add to oxidative stress, irritate blood vessel linings, and nudge blood pressure upward. Many supermarket options are also breaded and frozen. That adds refined starch and a lot of sodium, which can push numbers higher for anyone managing hypertension. There is a nutrition shift to consider as well. Farm-style feeding and processing can tilt the fat profile toward more omega-6 and less omega-3. The result is less of the heart protective benefit people expect from fish. Some lots may also carry traces of antibiotics or antifungal agents used around pens or during transport. Small amounts over long periods matter more after 60. You do not need to give up white fish. You just need cleaner choices and gentler cooking. Choose wild-caught Pacific cod from cold waters such as Alaska. Haddock and pollock are good alternatives with a similar mild taste. When buying frozen, look for plain, unbreaded fillets and check the label for species and origin. Aim for low-sodium products and skip sauces that are salty. Bake, steam, or grill rather than frying to preserve delicate fats. If you buy fresh, pick fillets with firm flesh, clear moisture, and a mild sea smell. A quick supplement tip. Many fish oils use cod liver sources, read labels, and prefer products that specify wild-caught, cold water sourcing with third-party purity testing. 9. Catfish. Catfish feels familiar and comforting. Crispy fillets, cornmeal breading, a weekend treat with family. Here is the part many older adults do not realize. Much of today's catfish does not come from clean rivers. It often comes from crowded ponds and heavy processing that can tilt stroke risk and blood pressure the wrong way. Farm-raised catfish are typically grown in shallow ponds where thousands of fish share limited space. They are fed grain-based pellets from corn and soy rather than a natural diet. That shifts the fat profile toward more omega-6 and less omega-3. Over time, that imbalance can fuel inflammation in blood vessels, push LDL upward, and make arteries less flexible. Pond management can also leave trace residues from routine treatments, and processed breaded products add refined starch and a lot of sodium. For someone over 60 watching heart health, that combination is not friendly to blood pressure or brain health. The cooking method matters just as much. Frying destroys delicate omega-3 and adds oxidized oils. A basket of fish and fries with salty sauces can turn a simple meal into a heavy hit for arteries within a single day. Many people think fish is always safer than red meat. The truth is that how the fish is raised and cooked makes the real difference. You can keep the flavor and protect your numbers. If you buy catfish, look for wild-caught or clearly labeled products with responsible practices and no antibiotics. Skip the fryer. Bake or grill with olive oil, lemon, garlic, and herbs. 10. Sardines and oil are salted. Many adults over 60 keep sardines at home because they are convenient, affordable, and rich in omega-3. Open the lid, add a few to crackers or a salad, and lunch is done. Here is the part most people miss. Not all sardines are the same. How they are packed can help your heart or quietly push stroke risk in the wrong direction. Fresh sardines are nutrient-dense. They bring omega-3, vitamin D, calcium, and quality protein with naturally low mercury. That combination supports flexible arteries, steadier blood pressure, and brain health. The trouble starts when sardines are heavily salted or packed in cheap oils. A single can packed in brine or generic vegetable oil can add a few hundred milligrams of sodium in one serving. Extra sodium pulls more water into the bloodstream and pushes blood pressure up. Many vegetable oils used in cans are high in omega-6, which can tilt the balance toward inflammation rather than protection. Some cans may also use linings that include BPA, a compound you want to minimize for vessel health. You can keep the benefits with a few smart switches. Choose sardines packed in water to cut sodium and avoid unwanted oils. If you enjoy a richer taste, pick versions packed in extra virgin olive oil rather than soybean or sunflower oil. Check labels for no salt added or low sodium. Give the filets a quick rinse before serving to remove surface salt. Skip flavor packs that hide extra salt and sugars, such as mustard or spicy sauces. Keep portions sensible and use canned sardines once or twice a week alongside potassium-rich vegetables like tomatoes, spinach, or avocado. Serve with whole grain toast or a lemon and herb dressing instead of salty crackers. You have just seen it. 10 kinds of fish millions of Americans eat every week, thinking they are helping their heart, when some can quietly push stroke risk higher. Not all seafood is created equal. Fish can be a powerful ally for heart health and brain health, but the wrong choices loaded with mercury, sodium, or industrial oils can raise blood pressure, inflame arteries, and work against you over time. Here is the good news. You have the power to choose differently. When you reach for wild-caught salmon, trout, anchovies, or sardines packed in water, you get natural omega-3s that protect your arteries and calm inflammation. With a few label checks and simple cooking methods like baking, grilling, or steaming, your meals can support lower blood pressure, steadier energy, and a clearer mind after 60. This is about more than avoiding a stroke. It is about living with strength, clarity, and confidence. It is about waking up each morning knowing your choices are helping you stay present for the people you love, your children, and your grandchildren. So the next time you shop or order at a restaurant, pause for one moment and ask, is this fish feeding my heart or fighting it? That single decision can turn into years gained, not years lost. If this video helped you, subscribe and share it with someone you care about. Knowledge like this does not just save lives, it extends them. Stay strong, stay curious, and join me in the next video where we reveal the 5 best fish to protect your heart and brain after 60.